Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about something very close to many people's hearts: how to change your life for the better. Not in a dramatic, change everything overnight way, but in a realistic, human way. And I'm really happy to be joined by Laura today. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Anna. Thanks for having me. I love this topic because so many people feel stuck but don't always know where to begin.
Exactly. I think the feeling of being stuck is very common. Let's start there. Why do you think so many people feel unhappy with their lives, even when everything looks fine from the outside?
That's a great question. I think many people live on autopilot. They follow routines, expectations, and other people's plans, but they don't stop and ask themselves what they really want. Over time, that creates frustration and emptiness.
Yes, like you're living someone else's life instead of your own. I felt that myself. Sometimes you wake up and think, is this really it?
Exactly. And the problem is, when people feel that way, they often blame themselves. They think something is wrong with them, instead of realizing that it's a sign they need change.
That's such an important point. Feeling uncomfortable can actually be a message, but change feels scary, doesn't it?
Very scary. Change means uncertainty, and our brains don't like uncertainty. Even if our current situation isn't great, it feels familiar and safe.
So true. Many people stay in jobs, relationships, or lifestyles they don't enjoy, just because it's known territory.
Yes, and that's where the comfort zone comes in. The comfort zone isn't always comfortable, it's just predictable.
I love that idea. So if someone wants to change their life for the better, what's the very first step?
Honestly, awareness. Before changing anything, you need to notice what's not working. Ask yourself simple questions like, what drains my energy? What makes me feel alive? What do I avoid thinking about?
That sounds simple, but it can be very uncomfortable.
It can, because answers are sometimes inconvenient. You might realize you're exhausted because you never rest, or unhappy because you ignore your own needs.
Yes, or because you say yes to everyone except yourself.
Exactly. And once you see that clearly, change becomes possible.
Many people think change has to be big: quitting a job, moving to another country, starting a completely new life. Do you think that's necessary?
Not at all. Big changes often start with very small decisions. Drinking more water, going to sleep earlier, walking every day, limiting social media. These things sound simple, but they have a huge impact over time.
I completely agree. Small habits shape our lives, but people often get impatient. They want fast results.
Yes, and that's where many people give up. They don't see results in a week or a month and think, this doesn't work. But real change is slow and quiet.
It's not very Instagram-friendly.
Not at all. Social media shows dramatic transformations, but real life is much messier.
Let's talk about mindset. How important is mindset when trying to improve your life?
It's everything. You can have all the tools and opportunities, but if you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll fail anyway, you won't move forward.
Negative self-talk is powerful and dangerous.
Yes, but the good news is, we can change it. We can't control every thought, but we can question them. When you think, I can't do this, you can ask, is this really true?
That's such a useful technique. Instead of fighting thoughts, you investigate them.
Exactly. And over time, that builds confidence.
What about fear of failure? I know many people don't even try because they're afraid of failing.
Fear of failure is actually fear of judgment from others or from ourselves. But failure is often how we learn. Every mistake shows us what doesn't work.
And yet, we treat mistakes like disasters.
Yes, especially adults. Children fall, make mistakes, and keep going. Adults tend to stop.
That's true. Adults expect perfection from themselves.
And perfection is impossible. Progress is much healthier.
Let's talk about goals. Many people say, I want to change my life, but they don't have clear goals.
That's a big problem. A goal like be happy is too vague. Instead, you need something specific, like I want to improve my health, or I want to change how I spend my mornings.
Something you can actually act on.
Yes, and goals should be realistic. Not what society tells you to want, but what truly matters to you.
That can be hard to separate.
Very hard. We're constantly told what success should look like: more money, more productivity, more achievements. But success is personal.
I love that. Success for one person might be a high-paying job, and for someone else, it's peace and balance.
Exactly. And changing your life for the better doesn't always mean adding more. Sometimes it means letting go.
Letting go of what?
Toxic habits, negative relationships, unrealistic expectations, constant comparison.
Comparison is a big one.
Yes. When you compare your behind-the-scenes life with someone else's highlight reel, you always lose.
So true. Let's talk about energy. How does energy play a role in life changes?
Energy is everything. If you're exhausted, stressed, or overwhelmed, it's very hard to make positive changes. That's why rest is not lazy, it's necessary.
I love hearing that. Rest is often treated like a reward, not a need.
And that mindset keeps people burned out. Taking care of yourself gives you the strength to change.
What advice would you give to someone who feels completely lost right now?
Start with one small act of self-care today. Drink water, take a walk, write down your thoughts. You don't need a full plan, just one step.
And trust that small steps add up.
Yes. Changing your life isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more yourself.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Before we finish, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Change doesn't mean your life so far was a mistake. It means you're growing, and growth is always a good sign.
I love that. Thank you so much, Laura, for this honest and inspiring conversation.
Thank you, Anna. It was a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, remember, your life doesn't change in one moment, but it can change with one decision. See you next time.